my loves. Well, it has been a long while. I know, it's been the longest while since I did a reading vlog, so here we are. It is Saturday morning, and weirdly, I have a morning to myself. My boyfriend has gone to a skate park because he's a skateboarder by hobby. So he'll be gone for a little bit, and I got to wake up, make myself a nice coffee, turn on all my little hygge lights, and just relax a little. And I wanted to talk about the Final Girl support group by Grady Hendrix. It's his newest book, and it's basically about a final girl support group. So everything that like happens to the final girls after they kill their killer. And so it's just going through the girls, specifically one girl named Lynette. She survived a massacre 22 years ago, and then now things are happening again. Her and her support group are being picked off, and she is trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And so I am, let's see, I am about 80 pages in, and true to form, Grady Hendrix does not disappoint in terms of pacing specifically. His pacing has always been spot on. I've always felt like I could just breeze through his books, and I'm kind of a leisurely reader. I tend to not sit down for hours and read. I tend to sort of pick a couple, like 10 to 30 minutes here or there, etc. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could sit down and just breeze through this book. Not a lot is happening right now. Basically, in the beginning, they're just talking about how they met each other. They're in their like therapy final girl support group, and things just start happening. The main girl kind of talks about like how she's super freaking paranoid, and I get it. I mean, so I should mention that the book is set almost like 20 years after the girls, you know, survive their massacre or whatever it is. And all of the girls are modeled after like very famous horror movies. One girl is definitely modeled after like the Jason movies, modeled after the Halloween movies with Michael Myers. Mike Myers? I get confused, but I love Halloween. I love the Halloween movies. So I don't know. Yeah, I need to rewatch them because reading this makes me want to rewatch the Halloween movies. I might do that today. I've heard some weird stuff about
Halloween 3 season of the
3 season of the witch, and I might check that out today if I can find it. But yeah, today is really not a lot of plans. I am just going to potter about the house, read a little, maybe film a couple YouTube videos because I'm trying to come back, guys. Yeah, I'm not going to go into this deeply because I imagine I'll go through this in another video, but I am trying to come back and not stress myself out. I miss YouTube. I miss talking about books. I'm really one of the few people in my life that read as much as I do, and they read the genres that I do. So it would be nice to come back, talk about some spooky books, and just, you know, not stress about things. So I'm gonna read this and I will check in later. Hi friends, so I have made it past the 100-page mark, and I just wanted to check in really briefly. Also, sorry for the lighting. It gets really bright literally at 2 points of the day in my house, and the rest of the time it's dark, and of course I'm filming when it gets really freaking bright. Let's see if I can, there you go, my big old head will block it. Anyway, I wanted to check in because I know the last time I talked to you, which wasn't all that long ago, I said that nothing was really happening. I don't know why the heck I said that. Something is always happening in a Grady Hendrix book. What I've really like caught onto so far is how much I like how he explores the psychosis, like the PTSD after long after like the final girl event happens, where like they kill their killer. And you know, just like all of the slasher movies that you've seen, it happens when they're young, whether they're like 16 or like in high school or like early 20s. It's usually when they're really young. And now they're much older, but they're still suffering from all of the PTSD of going through something like that, which can't blame them. I probably would be fucked up forever. But yeah, I just find it really, sorry, I just ate a granola bar, so if I'm like chewing, that's why. But I just find it really interesting because Grady Hendrix is not only pretty much a master at atmosphere and vibe and just horror in general, but he's also really good at always exploring at least one underlying like psychological theme, or like sometimes exposing like social issues, that sort of thing. And right now we're really focusing on like just how horrible life is after going through something so traumatic. The main character, Lynette, is basically just paranoid, so cripplingly paranoid. She has literally known in her life except this one plant that she has named Fine, and she talks to Fine every day, and really that's it. She has a metal cage in her apartment so that she can just lock herself in moments of panic or like danger. She is basically always armed. So I get it, but it just struck me that it must frickin' suck to live like that. Anyway, I just wanted to check in and chat real fast, getting back to it. Okie dokie. So I had that entire pumpkin spice latte that I made this morning, and caffeine is flowing through me, like flowing through me. I am like at page 130, maybe 125, so that's pretty sweet. Read a decent amount, but I am hungry. And my boyfriend is still on his way home because the skate park he went to is a little bit out of town. But, you know, he had a free morning and he decided to make the drive with his brother, and they're on their way back. It is 11:44 and he might not be home till 1, and I don't know that my stomach will hold out, but he would like for us to have lunch together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a snack. I need a snack. And then I think I'm gonna prepare for another video that I want to film for y'all. So I think I might watch the second installment of Fear Street on Netflix while I have my snack, while I prepare for this YouTube video that I want to film. So sorry, my glasses have the worst glare. Okay, I'm gonna make my snack, bye.
Feel it in my bones, I can feel it in my veins. Hands in the sky, I can feel the winds of change. You live and you learn, and I hope I've seen enough to make something right, and make up for what I've lost. I was down, but things are looking up. I wanna get high on you, caught by surprise by...
Hi, my loves. It is Sunday. I'm obviously sitting in my car getting ready to go somewhere, but I wanted to check in with you really quickly. I basically read 100 pages yesterday. I read a little more today. I'm not hitting a rut with it per se. It moves too quickly, and it's too short of a book to really hit a rut, but I am feeling like it's meandering a little bit, or maybe I'm just distractible. Like, I feel like I have done a lot of stuff yesterday and today that I haven't really had a moment to like sit down and really get immersed. And even when I do, it's like a, you know, like 20, 30 pages here or there, and then I go do something else. I think right now, my issue is that there's not a lot of scary things happening. It's a lot of fast-paced, sort of thriller-esque things happening in the book right now. But yeah, the Final Girl support group, it's not so scary right now. Maybe it'll get scary. There was a point where they were like, where the main girl Lynette was rehashing a couple of things, going over or like remembering some things, and that was intense for sure. And I will say that we are, like in My Best Friend's Exorcism, another Grady Hendrix book, we are exploring the themes of close female relationships, what happens when a female isn't believed or listened to, and that is definitely a common theme that is explored in Grady Hendrix's books. But I'm just waiting to feel any sort of horror or terror. So I'm sure it's coming up soon. I'm really only at like a little past the 200 page mark, but yeah, I wanted to check in with you also. I'm bringing you along. I'm going as a wing woman for one of my best friends, Madeline. She is going to a social event with maybe a new dude, but yeah, she was like, please come, or she was asking her friends in general, someone come to be her wing woman so she's less awkward. So I'm going just for a little bit, but I have ulterior motives. I believe an at-home store is on the way home, or at least it'll take the same amount of time for me to go there and come home as if I just went home straight. So I'm gonna pass by and see if it's a code orange there, if there are Halloween decorations there, and if there is, we are going to grab some. I'm specifically looking for a mug. I really just need more Halloween mugs. I don't have any Halloween mugs, and I love mugs. My boyfriend will probably kill me if I bring home any more frickin' mugs, but I don't have any Halloween mugs, so yeah, we'll see, but I'm taking you along. And if I don't go, well, you'll find out later. Okay, so I am actually at the place I'm supposed to be meeting a friend, and it turns out that me being a wing woman is not necessarily needed anymore, because my friend's person that she's seeing, all of his friends bailed, so it's just gonna be the three of us. Love being a third wheel, but it'll be good to see her. It'll be good to see the new dude. But I wanted to show you, so in addition to reading the Final Girls support group, I'm actually reading, or on audiobook, The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware. This is another book I heard about through Alexandra Roslin, my favorite booktuber. I'm sure you know about her if you love watching booktube. So The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware is a thriller book, and I have not read very many thrillers, so I'm trying to get into it because it seems to be super trendy these days. But basically it's about a girl named Hal who is very broke, and she gets a mysterious letter saying that she has inherited some money and that a relation has passed away. Well, she understands that it's probably, the letter was probably sent to the wrong person, but she works as a tarot reader on I guess an ocean pier, and that her tarot skills might be able to help her claim this inheritance. I don't know, sounds really freaking sketch, but apparently there's something very, very wrong with the whole situation of this inheritance, and I guess, you know, thrilling things happen. It's good so far. One of the reasons why I decided to go ahead and pick it up via audiobook is because Alexandra Rosalind talked about how it was very Gothic literature-esque, and I'm very interested in that. I love the Gothic atmosphere, so yeah. All right, I'm gonna go and meet my friend and then hopefully go to At Home later. Yeah. Look, we made it. Okay, we're gonna go in really quickly, just hit my air freshener. Oh my goodness, but we're gonna go in really quickly, see what they have. If they have nothing, we're going, and I'll tell you, I'll check in with you later. Okay, let's go. Okay, not gonna lie, I still feel like a freak vlogging in public, but At Home has Halloween shit, and I'm really excited about this. Hey guys, so I'm home and I just wanted to share with you my very small At Home haul. As you saw earlier, I was able to go to the At Home store, which I didn't even know we had, and I'd been seeing all over social media how early they like put out their Halloween stuff, and people were not joking. They had a lot, and what's crazy is that they had a lot of empty space, so I can only imagine what is more to come. Why can't I talk today? Anyway, there's obviously going to be more stuff that they're going to put out, and I'm very excited to return because I saw some stuff that I didn't get today just because of budgetary reasons and restraint reasons. I'm trying to practice some restraint, but also I just tend to get overwhelmed with Halloween decorations. That sounds so stupid, but every year I get very excited for Halloween and I work myself up all year basically. Honestly, it starts at June, like end of May, starting June. I'm like, I'm ready for fall. Spring is over. It's starting to get hot here in North Carolina, and I'm done with it. I don't like the heat. So I'm ready for fall and obviously ready for Halloween. So I basically work myself up all the way from June to October. And by the time October rolls around, I've basically like Halloweened myself out, but not really because I still love the actual day. And by that time, it actually feels like fall. Anyway, I just get overwhelmed every time they put out the Halloween decorations because there's just everything. I want everything. I don't have a lot of space because I try to keep my Halloween contained to my office because my boyfriend tolerates my Halloween stuff so kindly. But yeah, it's better if it just stays contained in my office. Otherwise, our whole house would be a very gothy home. Yes, I made gothy a word because it is. Anyway, so I don't actually end up getting many decorations over the years. Last year was the first time I really like spent time getting decorations. I went to Spirit of Halloween, Michael's. I made a vlog about that last year. Yeah, and I got some stuff, but I still really didn't, I don't know, Halloween decor shop to its fullest potential. I really only went to like 1 or 2 stores and then I was like, I'm done. It's so much. But anyway, I got to go to At Home. Let me show you what I got. So first things first, look at this skull mug glass thing. It's got a lid, it's got a little straw, and it's glass. I thought when I picked it up, I thought it was gonna be plastic, and I'm so pleased it's glass. I don't know why, but I don't want plastic. I just want the glass, and I just like the clinky noise of the ice. This is gonna be for my iced coffee in the morning, and I'm really pumped to drink out of this. I'm so excited. I'm excited to make like social media stuff with this, honestly. And then the other thing I got is this magnificent skull. Magnificent. It's got lizards all over it. Just the detailing is amazing. And I really thought when I picked this up, this was going to be like $40, $50. It was $20. Now, I say that just thinking because it's so intricate, because there's like skulls or lizards all over the skull, and it's a pretty big skull. Like, it's bigger than my head. But things weren't necessarily cheap at the at-home store. They were sort of normal price, I don't know, probably like Michael's, but I was really surprised that this was not like $40, $50. It's just giant and beautiful, and it's just gets my horror boner going, not gonna lie. And that's gonna go on my desk once I clear some shit out of there. And then I also got this. He's like bundled up right now, and I'll cut him down and when I'm ready to put him up, but got a little skeleton man. Yeah, look, boop, 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 boop. I'm gonna hang him on my door because right now my door has this like really big wreath. You probably can't see it because it's focusing on my face. Why can't I talk? But that wreath is black, and it's got like gold and red roses and details, and then it's got skulls all over it. And I love it. It's beautiful, but it's just big, and I kind of want to put a skelly over there. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, I know I've been ranting at you about my at-home sort of experience. I wanted to update you, not on the Final Girls support group because I haven't been able to read it since I got home and we had dinner and that sort of thing, so I'm about to settle in and maybe read some. But I did get a little further in The Death of Mrs. Westaway by Ruth Ware on audiobook. And I'll put the little picture here because you didn't really get to see it on my phone. I'm really liking it. I don't know. I'm really liking the writing. I'm really liking the pace that it's moving at. It is very atmospheric, even though nothing's really happening yet. There's a lot of mention of tarot card reading, which I love. I have a couple decks myself. Yeah, it's funny because someone whose book opinion I trust, they were like, yeah, Ruth Ware is okay. Like, they weren't super into it, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll just try it on audiobook, so there's no commitment. But I really like it so far. I can kind of see where the hype is going. So, well, I'm really only like a 10th of the way in, so I don't know why I'm making judgments right now. Anyway, I think my caffeine like kicked in late. That's why I'm like basically talking at you. So I'm gonna go away now. I'm gonna read my book, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Alrighty, thoughts. I have so many thoughts about this book, and I'm not really sure where to start. So I guess I will just give you my star rating off the bat, and then I'll go into why I'm rating it that. I'm giving this a 4 stars. I will say that it was entirely enjoyable. It's probably not my favorite Grady Hendrix. I read a couple different reviews, just briefly, like I just glazed over it on Goodreads, and I know a lot of people loved this book a lot, and I can see why. There's a lot of great things in this book, but there were a lot of things for me that I felt sort of dragged, and I just had like some thoughts about. So let's talk about the good things about this book. This book is very well written. I talked about this with my best friend Irina, who read the book very quickly, and she enjoyed it a lot. I think she would probably give it a higher rating than I do. And she said that it was probably one of his best written books so far. I felt like I had a completely opposite experience from what she had. She loved it. She thought it was better written than his other books, and she felt like it was very fast-paced, that sort of thing. And she's right, it is very fast-paced. I felt that for sure, and I did think it was very well written. The description of the scenes and the pacing of it is very good. What I didn't like about it, so there was a part in the middle where I felt like it dragged a little, and we were just going through, this isn't a spoiler because you get introduced to Lynette's tics and neuroses very quickly, and I felt like in the middle there was a point where that sort of dragged, and I sort of just couldn't read the book. I felt like I had to put it down a couple times and just come back to it because it just felt like it dragged a little. And it's not a very long book. It's only like 378 pages or something like that. So there was that. And then I guess my biggest thing is that I'm torn between whether I feel like this book is a bit of a copycat to the Scream plot, or whether I love it because the author is such an obvious horror movie fan and appreciator of the horror genre. I'm going to imagine that a lot of you have seen the Scream movies, and I'm not going to get into it because it will spoil things, but some of you will probably know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to say that this might be a spoiler, so here's your warning now, and I'm going to say it very quickly. So with this book feels a lot like Scream 4. With Emma Roberts. Actually, is it Scream 4? Yeah, sorry. I had to make sure that I was talking about the right movie, but yeah. This book reminds me very much of Scream 4. And I don't know, I just felt like I had, even though this is my first time reading this book, I felt like I had seen a lot of this already before, and that's not hard to do because this is the slasher genre, right? Like ultimately, Grady Hendrix is someone who loves the horror genre. You can tell that all over his writing. In my opinion, his other books like Horror Store, My Best Friend's Exorcism, Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, those all were superior to me than this because there were some solid horror elements and they were done so freaking well. I read Horror Store recently and there were a lot of scenes that just like felt like I was going through my own little personal horror movie, and I just didn't quite get that from this, but I knew I was going to feel that way, I think, to an extent because this is of the slasher genre, and slashers always feel a little bit more like a thriller sort of feel. Because, you know, there's nothing supernatural happening. So the horror comes from, you know, a real live person chasing down and killing people. And that's not necessarily always like the scariest thing. At least, you know, if it happened in real life, it'd be really scary. But in terms of like a movie or a book, it's not something that terrifies me. So yeah, I will say the good thing about this book that I really loved is that it just goes to show that Grady Hendrix is a master at the female point of view. And that's really interesting because I would say for a Caucasian male. And I just think that it's really interesting that he over and over again chooses to base his characters on females and the female gaze, in the sense of like, you know, this explores a lot of PTSD, a lot of the ramifications and the aftermath of what happens when a female goes through violence, sexual violence, assault, that sort of thing. There is no sexual violence in this, I don't think. But you can sort of see the underlying current of that and what women go through when they go through assault and violence. They're not always believed. They're not always taken seriously. Their stories are in turn sort of, you know, modified for wider consumption, even though you don't need any more drama when someone, especially a woman, tells you that they've been assaulted in any way. Like, for some reason, I don't know, the wider media loves to up that drama, and it sort of does a disservice to the woman's story or the person's story. And I just think that he does a really good job of demonstrating how harmful that can be and how the world doesn't take that seriously. They're constantly trying to make profits out of that. And there is a moment where, you know, it feels very meta. And that's the other thing, is that a lot of this feels very meta, which the movies, the Scream movies, they are also very meta. So it just felt like I had already experienced this before. But again, I really liked the themes of exposing the aftermath of when a woman goes through violence, and what that means to them, and how they never feel safe or secure no matter how long it's been, and that, you know, close female relationships really help them go through that sort of troubled journey a little easier. And having close female relationships or close relationships at all and maintaining those after an element of violence like that in someone's life is really difficult. And he, in a very short book, describes it so well and so poignantly. And also in a hyperbolic sense that still feels respectful to that experience. I really liked it. And I will say that the last 70 or 80 pages, it really ramps up. Like things just happen in quick sequences and things, you're like, your blood is pumping. My blood was pumping. And I just, yeah, I enjoyed it entirely. I've been rambling at you for a hot second. I suggest that you read this. I still enjoyed it thoroughly. It's probably the first Grady Hendrix that I haven't rated a full 5 stars. But that doesn't mean that I don't recommend it highly. I think it is definitely a good collection or part of the Grady Hendrix collection, and I will definitely sing its praises, but I just liked his other ones better. I enjoyed this thoroughly, and I really appreciate you coming along this little reading journey with this book, The Final Girl Support Group, and I hope you enjoyed this video. It was exciting to finally film another reading vlog after so long. So let me know down in the comments if you've read this book, what you thought about it, if you enjoyed it, if you didn't, if you had similar feelings to what I felt. Seriously, it's just been so wonderful to come back to this part of my life in terms of like reading vlogs and reading with y'all. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It really helps my channel, and hit that notification bell so you always know when I've got good things coming to you. Bye y'all.